in the Mountain West enjoying some vistas and Shakespeare.
Plus, we take in some cuisine with style.
We have one of the world's greatest chardonnays. This is from St. Helena, the Napa Valley region. And another day of competition at the Euro-US Cup. Hi everyone, cheers. We welcome you to Southern Utah.
We are in Cedar City. We're about 3.5 hours from Las Vegas and about 4 hours from Salt Lake City. Great spot.
Absolutely, and we are actually here at a local winery, which we'll tell you about in a little bit.
But one of the big reasons we're here is the Utah Shakespeare Festival. All right, let's start with driving to Southern Utah. Now this is video of us driving from Las Vegas. It's pretty spectacular. These mountains give off red and orange colors because of the potassium-rich minerals there.
Yeah, and I had never driven, so I was very impressed with this drive. You know, there's 5 national parks nearby, the nearest being Zion, and it really is a feast for the senses. Now, if you don't want to drive, you can fly into Cedar City. There's a small airport with Delta flights going in there.
Now, once you get to Cedar City, you see how quaint it is. But in the summer, this quiet town wakes up and finds itself in Elizabethan splendor. The main attraction is the Utah Shakespeare Festival. It has been there for almost 50 years, and if you have any love of theater or literature, this is a must. They have performances running from July to the end of October. 6 plays run in July and August. 3 of them are Shakespeare plays. The other 3 are usually American comedies, dramas, or musicals. So there's something for everyone. And during the summer, there's always a green show with young performers giving you a feel of what festivals were like in the 16th century. And it is kid-friendly. In September and October, 3 or 4 of the plays will remain on a rotating basis.
Now, if you are returning to the Shakespeare Festival, you'll notice some big changes. It has a whole new look, and that makes the outdoor theater experience even better. They're going no holds barred, if you excuse the pun. We got an outside tour from Josh Stavros, the PR director for the festival.
We are in the balcony level of the Ingolstadt Shakespeare Theater, which is under construction, and sets and equipment's going in right now for our July 7th opening. But this is our sort of crown jewel Shakespeare Theater. We've operated for out of the Adams Theater for many, many years. We've outgrown its needs, and as part of a large capital campaign by our Southern Utah University, we've built the Beverly Taylor Sorensen Center for the Arts, which includes this beautiful theater, the Eileen and Alan Ames Studio Theater, some wonderful new offices and construction spaces, and the Southern Utah Museum of Art.
And the construction's happening right now.
Right now,
as
yes.
We're standing here.
We're frantically working to get everything finished and in time for our July openings. But we know that one of the things that people love when they come to Cedar City to see Shakespeare and experience art is Shakespeare under the stars. And we have this beautiful outdoor venue that, if people have been before, feels like our old one. If you've never been, it's a really magical, wonderful way to experience live theater with the breeze, with the actors so close to you, and you can hear, you can understand. Anyone who's a little hesitant about Shakespeare, this is the way to see it, because it becomes completely accessible and fun and entertaining, and it's a great time.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a beautiful space, and this is almost like theater in the round almost.
It is. It's close to the audience on 3 3¾ sides, basically. You can see everything being so close. Even though you're outside, it's really great for you can hear really well. We love producing outside, and it's the way Shakespeare was done in England back in the olden days.
Now, those changes will be complete by July 2016, and this is what it will look like. Of course, we will go back to show you the new facelift.
We have, well, excuse this pun, a big glove for this area. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Now, the area is still a large Mormon influence. One thing to notice is the width of the streets. Streets are very wide and numbered based on the planning system by Mormon founder Joseph Smith to accommodate every household to have their own farm in the 19th century, so it was easy for a team of horses to move.
And Utah is seeing diversity in its 21st century culture as well. For instance, most restaurants serve wine and beer now. This is a big change over the last 10 years, and there's a winery right in Cedar City. This is the IG winery where we are shooting the show from. The wines are really good. The grapes come from California, Oregon, and Washington. Now, Doug McCombs is the winemaker here. He wanted to open a winery in southern Utah so he could be the wine pioneer there, and they've actually won a number of awards. We had the Seduction and the Allure and the Whisper. They were all three very good. The Seduction is a red blend, and we had that with pizza later. And we also had the Tempranillo, which was very good. Those grapes come from Paso Robles, and this was one of our favorites. It's a really nice balance with dark cherry and licorice flavors. I think it would go well with food or on its own. And then the Allure was really a nice light white, perfect for a summery day. This also went well with pizza as well. So you could pick up any of those.
And also connected to that winery is the Iron Gate Bed and Breakfast. This is a place to stay if you're going to stay at the festival. Now, besides easy access to wine, it is actually a really quick walk to the theaters. Now, I stayed here about 10 years ago. It has not changed, even though the owners have. It's still charming and inviting. One thing that is really unique is that it has a shower with 3 shower heads. And I have absolutely no idea why. Do you?
Well, I would say more shower water bang for your buck. That's why. Seems like a good idea to me. And then the owner, Donna, she was very welcoming and generally seemed to care about creating that warm and inviting experience for all of her guests. I remember she had the wine waiting for one of the guests as he was coming in the door, which I thought was a really nice touch.
And there are plenty of restaurants in Cedar City. We found this one, Centro. It looks like a pizza shop. Well, it is a pizza shop, but it's a lot more. Wait till you see the arugula salad. Oh, actually, it was a pizza. It wasn't just arugula salad.
No, and that I loved that actually, because you know how much we love arugula, and those wood-fired ovens, those really make a huge difference, I thought, on the crust. It's the rustic style crust, and you can see it here. It's crispy and it's smoky in its texture and flavor, and this was like a pizza with white sauce. It's called the pollo rustico, and here's the arugula salad, pizza that you were talking about. This was really delicious. It had fontina and prosciutto, obviously arugula, and then it had that shaved Parmesan cheese with a lemon basil vinaigrette. So I could have eaten that all day.
And we also found a little bit of the Old South in southern Utah, Sunny Boys Barbecue. This is authentic barbecue, and they have invented something, and we're going to show you that in a little bit, but here's a look at some barbecue. This was really good.
It really was. Yeah, they have all these different smoked meats, and they're really terrific. You can choose from pork, chicken, brisket. They also have smoked wings and ribs. This was our discovery that we had there. They are fry nachos, which they call fry-chos. I mean, talk about indulgent and loaded, and we got them actually with smoked chicken.
Yeah, and one helping between the two of us was too filling.
Oh yeah, half a helping is plenty. And they also had some great sides that you see some collard greens, and then we also got the fried cauliflower, which was very good. And they have a big bar of sauces, and all of those are extra that you could just put on your different barbecue meats and fries.
So you definitely need to do a little bit of exercise, and hiking or golfing would be really good in this area. This is a great little golf course. Cedar Ridge Golf Course had some intriguing holes like this par 3 downhill, which I did par easily despite some wind and elevation.
The setting is really beautiful, and it was a little windy that day, and here's where you almost threw me out of the golf cart by braking too hard, but other than that, it was a lovely, lovely time. Almost made that. One thing to remember, you are an hour ahead of Las Vegas, so keep that in mind.
So you'll come for Shakespeare, but there is still plenty to partake in here, and you will be beating yourself for not coming earlier.
And we actually have more coming up from southern Utah.
And we'll hear from the founder of the Utah Shakespeare Festival, Fred Adams, and about the relevance of the festival over the last 50 years. How did you mix Shakespeare and Utah?
Oh, that was kind of a given. I found that there had been literally a history of Shakespeare production and Shakespeare training in Utah. Right when the pioneers first arrived in 1847, the first thing they did was build theaters, start doing Shakespeare plays, keeping in mind where they left: Wales, Ireland, Scotland, London. It was kind of a natural. It's also the most studied subject in literature, and so it meant my audience already had had a class in it. And it didn't matter where my audience came from. They could come from Great Britain, or they could come from China, and they still were studying Shakespeare. They study it today.
We have to assume that and some Americans just either don't get Shakespeare.
Oh.
But you've taken care of them too, because
We
there's other productions here that are a ton of fun.
Two ways we've taken care of them. One, we do a musical, a popular musical, a musical that they say, gee, I'd like to bring my children to this, or this is a musical that I can understand, and that carrot brings them to the festival. And once we get them here, all we have to do is sit down with them in our grove out there and say, have you ever wondered what Henry V is about? And we talk a little bit about Henry V, and all of a sudden they go, gee, you know, maybe we got to stay and see what Henry V is all about. And they find themselves absolutely thrilled.
You know, when I come up here, I take the whole buffet.
Yes, you do.
So I'll go to all 6.
Yes.
Now, is it pretty easy for people to do that because the way you rotate it?
Everything is done in rotation, so that any 3 days that you're in residence here, you can see 6 plays. You can do a matinee and an evening, matinee, evening, and none of them would be the same. The matinee, they all rotate, and they rotate in such a way so that every 3 days, every play gets done.
So to me, if I had to pick one thing of why people come here, it's to come to see the statue of you.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh no, heavens,
Oh, that statue,
no.
come on!
Oh heavens, no. That statue, no. That statue with that oversized rear end, no. I think audiences come for 2 reasons. I think audiences come because number one, they know that they're going to see quality. Number 2, they're going to get their money's worth. We're not an expensive theater to begin with. So they know that they're going to get their money's worth. And number 2, they know that they're going to go away with something almost tangible that they can take home, and all winter long they can chew on it, they can gnaw on it and think about it. And I love that discussion we had over such and such, or I love that conversation over this or that, and that kind of filling out the holes, or filling up the process more completely. I think that's why they come.
I still say it's the statue, because I come up to see the statue. Because you're immortalized now.
I know.
And how do you feel about that? Because if you think about it, I mean, you've made history here.
Yes.
And this is your baby.
Okay.
So you literally have to walk in here and just go, oh.
Let me put it this way. The day my statue went up, my wife looked at the statue and she said, just remember, Saddam Hussein's statue came down face first. Never forgotten it.
Fred, thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, it was a joy.
Thanks for being back. Letting me come back with you again.
Oh, I'm so glad you'd come back. It's so wonderful to see you again.
And special thanks to Fred Adams and all the staff at the Utah Shakespeare Festival for being so receptive and hospitable to us.
And when we come back, we rate another Chardonnay right from the kitchen.
All right, let's talk about one of the great Chardonnays of all time. And we love the Chardonnay. It's a Rombauer.
Oh yeah, it's one of our top 3 faves for sure. We absolutely adore it. Now, one funny thing that we happened to just hear recently that we never have heard before.
Well, and this was up in Park City, Utah, and it is not called Rombauer up there by the locals. It is called Cougar Juice. So they say this is what the hot women who are cougars, who like the younger men, this is what they drink. And we were kind of like, really? And I guess you can understand it because it does have that creamy,
rich
sensuous
quality
way about it.
Exactly.
And so he was joking around. He says, yeah, while these rich women are going and enjoying and having fun while their husbands are skiing, they're drinking Cougar Juice and enjoying the local young men there, something like that. So we don't know if that's true or not, but we thought calling it Cougar Juice is actually very funny. So we call it Cougar Juice at certain times.
Yes, but if you're a man, you can enjoy it as well.
That's true. I am no cougar. Yeah, and I can taste the cream, the butter, and the fruit as well in here. So it's
you can just, in the aroma and the bouquet, when you smell it, it's just like heaven. If you love those flavors and that's your flavor profile too, you will adore this wine. If you've never tried it, we urge you, go out and try it. Yeah, it's available in a lot of different stores. It's not just specialty wine stores. Most stores actually carry it. And the winery is located in St. Helena, but they do source the grapes from Carneros, and those regions are all very tightly close together right there. And we always talk about Carneros being a great Pinot grape town. Well, it's also fabulous for this kind of a Chardonnay grape. Yeah, just really brings out those hallmark characteristics that Rombauer is known for. And some of the tasting notes from the winery, vibrant flavors of mango and guava, meld with vanilla, soft spice on the creamy, rich palate. That's so true. What we love about this is it's not just so much oak and butter that you can't taste anything else. It really develops on your palate, and it ends with a nice acidity and a nice kick. So it does have the fruit, but it's also got the butter and the oak, and then it just kind of finishes really clean, but with like a little finish of acidity. We've had it with steak, we've had it with lobster, we've had it with fish, we've had it with cheese. Yeah, it pairs really well with absolutely everything. The butteriness, the richness, the creaminess, it just goes so well with the steak, kind of like a cab, those same things in the cab. And because of the acidity in this, it really blends well with the flavors of the steak, kind of like the tannins in a cab would do as well. So. And
the winery itself is a great place to visit. I was actually there in the mid to late 1990s, and they have a lot of wine there because they make a lot of wine for other labels that you wouldn't know about. True, correct. Yeah, they source their grapes out to other labels, and their grapes are phenomenal because they're just in that great region. And like you mentioned, going to the winery, they actually do have other Chardonnays there. So this is one of 4 Chardonnays they have. They're all Chardonnay grapes, 100%, so they don't blend any of them that I know of, but out of those 4 that they currently have, they're all 100% Chardonnay grapes, which is really saying something that you can get this much flavor. Just shows you that the terroir, where they're growing the grapes, is just amazing. Well, it's interesting too, because we talk a lot about Italian or French wines. This actually has kind of a German feel about it because the family is from the German area. In fact, what is the area they're from? They are from Rheingau. Hopefully I'm saying that correct. I think it is, yeah. Yeah, Rheingau, Germany. And Kerner Rombauer founded it in 1972, but his great aunt Irma Rombauer, it's a little bit hard to say 3 times fast, his great aunt Irma Rombauer was the author of The Joy of Cooking. Which was one of the universal classic cookbooks back in, the 40s and 50s or something? Yeah, absolutely. And then their cork, they have right on there, The Joy of Wine, which I personally love. I've kind of adopted that as my own slogan too. The first time I ever saw that, I said, oh, that's just a beautiful thing. And they really do celebrate the joy of wine there at Rombauer. If you're part of their club membership, you can do that too, and you do get a good deal on the wines. You get a really substantial discount. So that's a nice thing to consider too. Yeah, and like most wineries, they're very friendly. So when you go to visit, you'll be well taken care of, and there'll be some wine you can have there to taste it, or a bottle to take with you. So yeah, absolutely. Family run, family friendly. You'll be treated like family when you go there too. Yeah, cool. Rombauer, one of the top Chardonnays in the world. Cheers. Cheers.
The Euro U.S. Cup moves to TPC Sawgrass. The Players Course, of course, the pinnacle of the day, was playing the 17th Island Green. An easy shot, only 138 yards to the pin, but player after player from both sides had trouble hitting the putting surface, and with good reason and new respect.
Wow, unbelievable hole. very tough hole, intimidating. Stepped up there, thought I was gonna get it on, and ooh, just missed it to the right. Dropped, sliced it, I was intimidated in my head. Dropped another one, sliced it, went to the drop zone, and put 2 more in the
The green is a lot smaller than pictured on TV. So the pin was tucked all the way up and in the back. So if you hit directly at the pin, you were off the back of the green. If you went short, you had a very difficult putt uphill and to the left. So really, unless you were within 20, 25 feet, you had a very difficult par.
Just the wind. The wind affected the shots much more than I would have reckoned it should have done.
6 of the 16 players hit the green, including some of the higher handicappers, but even that didn't help sometime.
Well, I didn't expect to get on the green, and I didn't expect to lose the hole on a par on that green.
Overall, the course was extremely tough, forcing many of us to the 19th hole.
1 beer.
And then what?
Then 2 beers.
Then what are you going to have?
3 beers.
And in another episode, we will tell you what the final outcome of this prestigious event was.
Oh, I can't wait to hear who the winner is.
Everybody's on the edge of their seat.
And just remember, you can create your own event just like that. Go to jetsetterdeals.com and they will help you set everything up, and you're getting special rates because that is exclusive site for you, our viewers.
So cheers.
Cheers. See you next time.